3 Cents Podcast is brought to you by Integrity Roofing and Siding. These guys are awesome when it comes to roofing needs, but also siding and renovation. They do gutters. These are year-round issues, and Integrity Roofing and Siding is there for you 24/7 year-round. Need a roofer? Our roofer is Integrity Roofing and Siding, 210-340-7663. 210-340-7663. The official roofing company of 3 Cents Podcast is Integrity Roofing and Siding.
Oh, we continue here on this Thursday, first Thursday of the year. Can you still say Happy New Year?
Sure.
Okay, I didn't know if there's like a specific day where it becomes annoying. Somebody said, like, you know,
February 1st.
February 1st.
Yeah. You should get a month.
Get a month.
Have you written the wrong year yet?
Not yet.
I will, inevitably.
Oh, I know. I definitely will.
Yeah.
Again, having New Year's Day on a Monday just throws off, like, I'm trying to remember what today's Thursday and all of that, and just make sure I get everybody's name straight. So Mike Taylor is here. LG is next to me to my left here, and at an undisclosed secret location, Cleto Rodriguez is standing by at the Rodriguez estate, joining us. I know we didn't get to see you on Tuesday, sir, so we will settle for you via remote. Hello, sir.
How's it going, fellas? Can you hear me?
Happy New Year. Yeah, we hear you great, man.
Happy New Year, guys.
How's your 2024 starting so far?
I've had better days. This is that way. Yeah. Happy New Year, they said. And so far, it's kinda, just I'm waiting for it to kick in.
Okay. Well, maybe tomorrow we'll have
New Year's hangover.
redo. Well, New Year's hangover, I guess. But it's good to see you, sir. It's good to have you. Good to have you with us here. So we continue on.
Y'all can see me. I can just see LG.
Oh yeah, no, we see you fine, man.
I'll work on that.
You say no. No. We see you fine. So you're good. You're good.
Yeah, your beautiful salt and pepper beard.
Thanks.
You're fun-loving Cleto. Whatever could be wrong.
There you are. There you guys go.
Okay.
Very good.
Boy,
okay.
Man, my face looks like one big nutty. I'm not gonna kill. I mean, wow, that's just right there, right in my face.
Sit back. I do this sometimes.
Put the camera up higher, so you're looking up.
I do this.
My laptop, so I'm kind of like,
no, you're at the mercy of that.
Ernie, you would know this. LG
LG
always says, just pretend you're on the radio. Don't worry about anything. Like you were on television forever. So I'm always, I've learned to not be aware of the camera.
Right.
However, I still feel like sometimes I look like an idiot. Because especially like if I'm like on the other show, it's just me and LG. Right. And so if I'm ranting on something, I probably have notes in front of me.
Yeah.
Bullet points or whatever. And so I'm not even facing the camera. My head's down like doing this, like blah, 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 blah.
Right.
And I've got a pen and I'm marking off bullet points as I get to them. Oh, yeah. But he told me not worry about it. Then I worry about my turkey neck. This is why I'm trying to lose 10 pounds in 2024. I start doing this and my face looks flat. That's so lately I've been trying to, when I sit up.
Posture. Oh, yeah, I got to work on my posture anyway.
Yeah, straight.
I'm going to
got to have to straight back like Johnny Carson.
Yeah.
And it also makes your neck go like this, and you can't see that you have a fat neck. I always sit up straight and stick your chin out.
Yeah.
Do I look stupid like I'm trying to do that?
No, I mean, you don't want it to be like awkward or anything,
okay.
but I had terrible posture for many years doing the news because we stood so much.
Yeah.
And it just gets tiring after a while.
Your shoulders just kind of slump.
But I had consultants that would come in and they would look at the tape and they would critique our presentations and everything. And the one thing they would always say, I used to do this a lot when earlier in my course, the camera's higher now. It would be my hands would be resting on the desk, but they would be folded like this. And they were like, no, don't do that. You don't want to close yourself off to the audience.
Okay.
So if you want to, so I would physically grab the one side of the desk. I know you can't really see my hands. And then you put the other hand over here, closer to your co-anchor. And so you're opened up. You're opened up to the audience. If you do this, a lot of times you see people, they call it the steeple. They hold their hands like this, or they try to do the other, whatever. I can't even do it. But anyway, they said just keep your hands open, your arms open, and open up to the audience. But to answer your question, you try to ignore the camera to a certain extent. Because you don't want that awkward, like deer in the headlights look. But I think every once in a while we need to glance at the camera because we have with an audience watching us on
Correct.
social media.
I think I've slowly gotten better at that.
Yeah.
Like, and also hand placement. What's that?
I couldn't stand my consultant. If it was up to him, I would have been fired a long time ago.
Oh, the consultant at the TV station.
Yeah, this guy, I don't know who this clown thought he was, but he was like, you know, some guy, El Has-Been came in and he was just kind of like, you know, it'd be really great if he was gone.
Oh, like,
wow.
His recommendation to you, Cleto, was to get out.
He's got jokes. He's got jokes.
Yeah. I'm like, you know, he missed the whole point of why I was there. And matter of fact, now that I think about it, I have no idea why I was even there. I was just kind of like, you know, I had no idea. I was like,
wait a minute. No.
First thing, you know, we want to bring humor to the doom and gloom of everything that was going on in the morning. And, you know, I told him that's my gig, right? I mean, I had to tell this guy, look, you know, I'm working for y'all. I'm like, geez, man. I'm like, I don't know where he came from. I forgot his name too, but I remember seeing him on another channel.
Yeah, but nobody else was doing what we were doing at the time. And we took so many risks and threw so much stuff at the wall to see what stuck. But the idea that you would have a stand-up comedian on doing a bit essentially, or a live segment once in a half an hour, you probably did what, 8 of them? And at one point you were doing them on both News 4 and Fox. So what did you do, like 12 live shots or something crazy?
I remember one time, it was funny because
in a day.
I was in News 4 and my news director, Tom Bell at the time, said,
father of Kristen Bell.
Yeah, that's right. I got the word that you know, he's the one that signed me on. He's the one that hired me, and I guess he was the one to fire me. And I got word on the street that, hey, Cleto, they're looking at you, keep messing up, blah blah blah, and all this stuff. And I thought, man, I was gonna get fired. So I get called in his office, and I say, I'm standing there, right, and I go, hey, you know, I just want to thank you very much for taking a chance on me. I really appreciate the opportunity. It was a lot of fun. And he goes, what are you talking about? He goes, have a seat. And I go, no, we don't need to drag this on, man. I really appreciate it. I get it. I understand. It's not everybody's bag. I get it, you know, whatever. And he's like, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
All right, if you want to play it out, I'll play it out. Sit down, you know, hear the whole speech, whatever. And then finally he goes, so we're gonna add you to Fox. And I'm thinking, wait, what? He goes, yeah, we're gonna add you to Fox. So I'm thinking, and it was funny. This is the funny part though. All like the last few weeks when I kept hearing that one of the managers didn't care too much for me. So I was like, and I was getting the word that I was almost out. And everybody, this is the funny part, everybody at church, my church kept telling me, brother, I see nothing but increase coming your way. I see nothing but increase coming your way. And I'm like, well, obviously you don't know my boss because he don't see any of that. And sure enough, when I heard that, I was thinking, wow. And the increase was the viewership just doubled, you know, and it just came unreal. And Fox just kind of pretty much adopted me in a big way. I mean, they opened their arms to me, and it was just like no looking back. And then Fox, then the consultant got in News 4's head and got rid of me there, and I stayed. And then what's his name? What was the guy, the assistant news director's name that moved to? He went to another place, but he's still with. Was it Kevin? No, not Kevin.
No.
Keith McMahon.
Keith McMahon. Okay. Keith McMahon. Yes.
Keith McMahon said, hey, if they don't want you, we'll take you.
Yeah.
Come on over here. We'll make a home for you. And they did. And I was like grateful.
Yeah.
And I was on there for like 9 years total.
Can we get back to Kristen Bell's dad being your boss?
So I never worked with Tom Bell was the news director at News 4 when News 4 was downtown.
Yeah. That's right.
So I personally never worked for him, but yes, his daughter is the actress, what Elsa in Frozen and many other roles.
You know what he did?
But I never met Tom Bell.
He was really cool, and I remember I was on Gabriel Iglesias. He had a show, and it was on Comedy Central, and the LOL had a big party, a watch party. I had all my I had all my family there, and we're sitting down. We're gonna watch this thing. I performed for like 10 minutes. What I forgot is they edit it down because there's other comedians on there.
Right.
And I kid you not, we're all there, and it was like the quickest little 3-4 minute set, and I'm like, what the? Hey, I'm already done. I mean, it took longer to write congratulations wrong on my cake than they did, on the scene that I had on there. So, but it was cool because right before the show, Tom Bell called on his phone because he was there at the watch party, and he called Kristen's fiance at the time. What's that guy's name?
Dax Shepard, right?
They're still married.
They're still married.
That's right. And Dax kind of got on the phone and was like, man, this is cool. Your first TV set, enjoy it, embrace it. Because he was in the scene. He was doing it over there on MTV and all that other stuff. Wow. And I was like, this is pretty cool. And then for him to do that was really nice. And I would have probably rather talk to Kristen Bell, but I mean, hey.
One person removed.
Yeah.
She's great, man.
Yeah.
No, I think she's great. So he, California, New York, he just took the job, came down.
I honestly don't know.
Running that station?
I don't know where he came from before.
He went to San Diego after he left us.
Oh, okay.
And it was really cool because he said I had posted my first comedy special on Facebook, and when they went on Amazon Prime. And he came on the Facebook page, and he was like really cool. He's like, man, it's an honor because he said out of all of during his whole career that the best decision he made was putting me on on the show because he didn't know what to expect. I didn't know what to expect. I can tell you what I didn't expect. I didn't expect a bunch of haters coming on and telling me to get off their TV. But what are you gonna do? It comes with the territory. You gotta I got tough skin real quick, that's for sure.
Can't please everyone, that's for sure.
I told him, I said, look, I got my Facebook privileges taken away when I told them. They kept saying, get this fool off my TV. He's annoying as hell. I'd rather hear dogs get it on. I'm like, you know what? Yeah, they were telling me all kinds of stuff, and I got so pissed off because I felt like nobody from the station was defending me. I mean, I came from comedy scene where I had fans that actually like me, and I didn't know what this trolls and all this stuff was, and they came at me like that, and I remember I told them, hey, if you don't like the show, change the channel, Haas. And I told him, I remember one guy, he got under my skin and said I'd go kill myself. I said, hey, it's called Worst Collective for a reason. You know where I'm at. Come tell me that to my face. I was so mad. I was so mad.
Wait, you never had a heckler while you're doing stand up that trashed your set?
Well, no one told me to go kill myself. I mean, they told me, talk during my set. I can handle a heckler. I could handle a heckler, but this guy, go kill your mom, go kill yourself, go kill
everyone. Wow, that's a little harsh.
Dude, and that lady was mean. I ain't gonna lie, she was mean.
Dang, that's pretty personal.
I felt like nobody was defending me, and I said, and then next thing you know, I had my privileges taken away. I couldn't, because I didn't know you're supposed to write. You were supposed to type, thanks for watching. I really appreciate it. You scumbag.
We value your feedback.
Hope you die in a fire. But slowly, where you suffer for 6 weeks in the hospital after multiple skin grafts, then die in front of your kid.
I am so easy like Sunday morning. I'm like Lionel Richie. Easy
I wouldn't know by today.
It takes a lot to get under my skin, but that guy, I'm like, I walk in, I was having a good day. I didn't mess up on any of my words and and all this stuff. I mean, to me, the first day, I thought I'm gonna get canned and I'm not even hired yet. I was just an audition. I was an audition for 3 months. I finally told my boss, hey, if you're not gonna hire me, Haas, I'm not waking up this early anymore. Forget that, Charlie Brown. Yeah. I'm looking for some experience.
Well, it worked out. Well,
I love this. I love this. More dirt on the TV stations. I like it.
Yeah. Save some for the book, Klepto. Save some for the book.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Jeez, man. Right. I'd give some old radio stories, but I signed an NDA.
Non-disclosure.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Does it expire soon, or when does it expire?
Never. No.
Oh,
my non-compete's over. Like I can work for anybody.
So, like
I
an
want.
NDA is like lifetime.
I think so. Oh. Yeah. As it pertains to those particular topics.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, okay. I know. I see. I wouldn't. The danger in making someone sign an NDA goes to show that y'all are trying to hide stuff by making your employees sign an NDA. What is it? What are you trying to hide?
Yeah.
They abuse me.
Ernie, who was your toughest interview? What was the toughest interview for you ever?
Oh gosh. Oh, you know what? This is interesting. There are a couple that come to mind now that I think about it. Tracy Morgan, the comedian, came on our show right when we launched in like 2007, and there's a tape out there somewhere. But we were so fired up because he was one of the first big gets that we had. Yeah. The show hadn't even been on the air maybe 2 months, like 3 months. This is like in early 2006. We get him on. I think he was at Laugh Out Loud. He comes on. Long story short, we had set up these bits we were going to do with him, and we were going to have so much fun, and we were going to do multiple segments and everything. And he basically walked in and was not having any of it. Was not in a good mood, not interested. And I'll never forget, he was wearing like a white jumpsuit or something that was made out of material that like a towel is made out of, like a bath towel. I'll never forget. And it was dirty. Like it was stained.
He wore it up to the station?
He wore it to the station. And we sat down, and Kimberly and I are there, and we had so much material planned and everything, and he wasn't doing it. It was the most awkward, not funny, disappointing.
Yikes.
You know.
Just getting like, yes, Ernie, I will be doing stand-up.
Something like that.
If you say so.
Yeah,
yes.
He wasn't doing any of his... Because I think he was on Saturday Night Live, or I don't remember if that was I guess he was SNL, but... Anyway, bottom line is that's one that comes to mind. That was
is that when he was crying on stage at the LOL?
I don't remember him crying on stage, but I think he came on our show before he did his stuff at LOL, and like he had just gotten to town. Maybe he didn't want to wake up early that morning because it was like 8 a.m. or something. And yeah,
there comes a time in your career. There comes a time in your career as a comedian that you just feel like. You don't feel like getting up in the morning. It's crazy because for me, it was no problem. I love doing radio. I love doing TV.
Yeah.
And it's just some comedians, like the main headliners like that, they just get to a point where they're like, nah, I'm good. Like,
we had a run.
Well, then say no and don't come up there and waste Ernie's time. Don't be an asshole.
It's my time.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. I mean, I'm right there with you. I enjoyed it. I love doing radio and TV. And I didn't, Ernie, you want to hear something really funny? Is that I almost did not take the gig because I told Tom Bell that I was not a morning person. And he goes, I said, what time should I be at the station? He goes, you have to arrive about 4:30 and be ready to go. And I go, oh, that's cool. I'll drop my kids off at home when they get from school. And he goes, no, in the morning.
A.M.
I told him, I said, I am a comedian. I start my second dream at 4:00 in the morning.
Yeah.
I said, I'm just barely getting home at that time. Yeah. And he said, yeah. So I tried it out, and it was just like if I was waking up for a gig to go up in for an early flight. So it wasn't too bad.
Now you had a good run, that's for sure.
Mike, what was your worst interview?
Daryl Moose Johnston.
What?
Former Dallas Cowboys great, yeah. So he was the general. He had taken over as the general manager of the Commanders.
Sure.
Now, and anyone that knows me knows that I am anti any other football teams coming into our town. It's a Cowboys town. I don't have time for the effing Commanders or the stupid Talons.
So none of the minor league. Okay, I didn't know this
they
about.
They can all kiss my ass.
All the Brahmas.
And that goes for the San Antonio Brahmas too.
Wade
They're horrible.
Phillips.
It's a waste of time. The league damn near folded already, which they already had to merge with the XFL.
Yes.
And now we're stuck with Wade Phillips. That's right. You bet your ass. I'm the coach I'm gonna be coach of San Antonio. So I have no time for these bush league minor leagues because all they're doing, they know they're not going to last for long. They want to come in here, take your money, fool you into putting San Antonio on the shirt. Yeah, we're San Antonio's new team, and so that's my background. Knowing they're not going to be here in 2 years, they're trying to scam you out of money right now in the short term so they can all pad their retirement.
But the Commanders, we had like the top attendance in the league.
Right, Ernie, but the league was doomed. They didn't make it to half a season, and F the Commanders. My buddy Hutch, who was running my show as the producer at the time, went and bought season tickets. And I'm like, dude, don't do that. You're wasting your time. They cut the season out with 2 more home games left. Do you think they gave him the money back for the 2 home games?
Not.
Shit, no, they didn't. Screw them and screw the Brahmas. And so we had Daryl Johnston on. He was the general manager of the Commanders.
Yes.
And it had already gotten out that they were fledgling, already couldn't make payroll, were laying people off 6 weeks into the season in which this one's going to last. Oh, we've got Bill Polian as our president. No one wants to watch spring football. They don't. So, see how angry I get? I can't stand these damn minor league teams.
Triggered him already.
So we had Moose on. I'm like, Moose, this league ain't going to be around in 2 years. Why are you doing this? Are you just trying to show that you can be a GM in the NFL? Oh, he was done. As soon as I asked that, he didn't want anything to do it. Yep. No. League's going to be fine, Mike. And so halfway through the interview, and I love Moose Johnston.
Was this in person or like via
on the
phone?
On the phone.
Yeah, okay.
And I've actually interviewed him in person before. I spent 2 hours with Moose once in Dallas in my old days, and he was great. And I love Moose. I'm not anti-Moose.
Right.
But I pissed him off and I wasn't baiting him. I wasn't clickbaiting him. I love Moose Johnston. Hey, man, are you doing this so you can prove that you can be a GM in the NFL? Because I doubt you're going to be doing this in 2 years, and if this league even exists. And he just didn't like the wording the way I worded the question. So it was about 3 questions in. This is 4 or 5 minutes maybe. Yeah. And normally when you have a radio guest, he's on 10, 12 minutes.
Yeah.
We're 3 to 4 minutes in, and he's already been like, okay. And so I go, you know what, Moose? Hey, man, you're clearly not interested in doing this, so we're going to let you go. Okay, click. I hung up on him. Fuck off. Don't waste my time. I don't care if you're Moose Johnston, Troy Aikman, Tom Landry's ghost, Tracy Morgan, who, by the way, you talk about an overrated-ass cast member. Tracy Morgan is the single most overrated cast member in the history of Saturday Night Live. So screw him for acting like he's Eddie Murphy with you. You're not Eddie Murphy. You couldn't wipe Eddie Murphy's butt. And so look, if you're going to come on my show, I don't care who you are. It's 10 minutes. You've agreed to do it. We're all in the entertainment business here.
Right.
Don't come on there and mail it in. And I don't put up with that crap. I just don't. Yeah. I've never gotten in awe of celebrities. Thank God. It's been beneficial to me doing this for a living, I guess, because I've talked to a lot of famous people. But I'm like, Moose, hey man, and I'm not bullshitting you. I said it. Hey man, you're clearly not interested in doing this, so we're gonna let you go. And we had 5-6 minutes left in the segment, and Hutch is like, whoa. I'm like, I don't care. We're moving on. We're talking. Anyway, let's talk Spurs. I'm not putting up with that prima donna crap. So you asked me that question, and that popped in my head. That pissed me off. If you're not going to bring anything, even if you don't like the line of questioning, okay, so why are you on my show? You're on here to promote you. You're on here to try to sell tickets. You're the general manager.
Right. And
now you come on there and you big time the radio guy that's in the town where you're trying to dupe people into giving you their money for a league that won't be around in 6 weeks. Nice.
It is hard to believe the lack of success that we've had with minor league football in San Antonio. Just when I was a sportscaster and going to the Commanders, and I mean,
this country proves over how many leagues need to come and go before but they all know that it's a short term. It's a scam job. It's a short term scam job, like a traveling preacher. That's fake, Leto, no offense. It's like the traveling preacher that's just trying to scoop up money, and he goes town to town. Yes. Let's have a revival. Woo! I feel it in my bones. Give me your money. And he takes your money, and you never see him again.
Oh, my
That's
goodness.
what these fly-by-night minor league football leagues, that's all they're trying to do. The NFL has just got to sanction its own minor leagues at some point, but they let college football do it. So, they don't. But
isn't that essentially what the XFL / what is it, the UFL now?
That's what The Rock and his partners want it to become.
They want it to be that,
but it's not that yet. You can sign anybody. You can sign anybody you want off any team at any time. No one has property of it. It's not even like the NBA, where like the Spurs operate the Austin.
The G League.
Right, the G League. Yeah, our G League team, those kids go back and forth to the Spurs and back and forth. Now, maybe they can get out of the contracts pretty easily, but we manage that team. Quinn Snyder used to be the coach of the Spurs. He'd come down and he'd hang out with Pop on off nights and sit on the bench. Quinn's a successful NBA coach now for 10 years. Until the NFL gets its own minor league team, a league that they actually manage and operate. But I don't know that they will, because why should they? They don't have to. They're a $20 billion company already. They don't care.
But the G League operates simultaneously as the NBA season does, right? In other words, the NFL
congruent.
The NFL, thank you, congruent. The
Yeah,
NFL
you
would
can come
not
and go all you want.
The NFL would not want to run a minor league football league during the fall when in the middle of their regular season, right?
Right. Well, because these minor leagues, they want to sell tickets. Oh, it's spring ball.
Spring ball.
So buy season tickets.
Super Bowl's over. They want to give you a little more
Sure.
football.
Go buy a Talons shirt.
Yeah.
The guy that owned the Talons was the guy that owned that apartment company that owns a bunch of apartments in town.
Yes.
Lynx.
Yes, I
something
remember.
like that.
I can't remember his name, but
He was up to his ass in debt. He bought the team in order to make money for himself to pay off his debts and loans to the apartment companies. He couldn't have cared any less about us or our town. So anyway, that was my worst interview. Moose Johnston. I love Moose. I just was not going to ruin my credibility by kissing his butt when I was not a fan of his league and the team he was on. I didn't even really want to have him on. I kind of got talked into it. And it was Moose. I wanted to talk about Cowboys and the NFL. And then right before we come on, I'm told Moose is just going to talk about the Commanders. Okay.
that's it.
That eliminates 75% of my questions because I wanted to talk about the NFL too. I thought it'd be cool to talk NFL and Cowboys as a jumping off point into Commanders talk, but no, it went haywire quick. And by the way, I don't hate Tracy. I think he's extremely overrated. He's funny, but he's not nearly what people say.
I told you my worst interview was Kawhi Leonard.
Well, that's everybody. Well, yeah, I mean, good.
You're not the only one.
Has anyone ever had a good interview with Kawhi Leonard? Okay.
Man, that guy, it was at his basketball camp, and I kept telling him, hey, so how excited are you about the your camp and all these kids here? Very excited. Oh, you got a lot of stuff planned for the kids? Yeah. I'm like, you gonna do some drills, like some kind of awesome drills? Yeah. I go, hey, you know this is your camp, right?
His laugh though, he's got a pretty.
All the Spurs organization was looking at me like,
yeah, no.
I'm like, I love it. That's what I would have said. If you're gonna be like that, I'm gonna smart ass you.
Yeah.
So what? I respect me.
Man, throw me a bone, man.
Mm-hmm.
Something.
I had an interview years ago. Gosh, I don't want to get shot over this. I think he's free now.
He's out of prison. Don't get shot.
No, it wasn't Sam's. It wasn't Sam's fault. So Sam Hurd, San Antonio's own.
Yes.
He was a Cowboy at the time.
I remember Sam Hurd.
This is pre-Narcos. Sam,
that's right.
his agent reached out to the ticket, and Sam was going to have a football camp at Brack High here in town. And Pac-Man Jones is going to come down. Terrell Owens is coming down. Okay, what's up? Patrick Creighton. And so, okay, cool. So what happened? And he was going to come in. He sat in with me for 2 segments in studio. Sam Hurd and his representative was there. Some dude who I don't even think is an agent anymore.
Oh, gosh.
And we were not 5 minutes into this, and it became quite clear to me this is a money grab. They don't give 2 shits. Sam Hurd doesn't care whatsoever about this camp.
The camp was a money grab.
This is a money grab, and you're doing it at a high school that's in the inner city with blue-collar, hard-working folks. And it went south pretty quick. And then, long story short, Pac-Man didn't even show up. T.O. did. T.O. came by, said hi, got out of the car. What's up? Got back in the car and went back to the club. He didn't. They were supposed to go out there and do drills with the kids and all this kind of thing. It was a scam, and I wasn't going to have it. And so I blasted Sam Hurd and the agent mostly. And I gave Sam the benefit of the doubt, even though he was 22 at the time, 23.
Mm-hmm.
Still a grown man.
Yeah.
But a young man and probably impressionable and got duped by this idiot wannabe agent. And I slammed the agent, and he sent me a nasty email and such. And then 3 years later, his client's in the Fed for running pounds of cocaine, which Sam's now out. Sam did his time. It's not personal. But and I'm sure Sam would agree if he was sitting here. Yeah, that camp was bullshit. I got that agent lied to me, and that was an awkward interview. some of the best interviews I've ever done in my career were unexpected ones.
Sure.
Where I thought, this is a throwaway.
That's
and
exactly right.
It took a turn, or he said something.
Exactly right.
Or someone got emotional, and all of a sudden it just, whoa, this took a turn. Guys, did y'all ever watch the show? It was about the La Jefa female narcotics queen of the South. Mm. So our boy Brad Mahar is buddies
Salvation
with
Army.
Campos, JT Campos, who played a narcos leader, a cartel el jefe, on Queen of the South. And I had JT on. We were promoting the bowling tournament or one of these things that he does with the Salvation Army. I thought it was 5 minutes. Hey, few people probably know JT, but he's got a good story. He's from the Valley. He lives in Austin. He's a hard-working actor. He's a struggling actor. Mm-hmm. He got a big break on Queen of the South. But, I mean, I asked him, how you got started and why do you do what you do and who do you do it for, and he's like, he got choked up thinking about his dad and how he grew up stupid, dirt poor. No way he was ever going to be on TV. Get on TV, get a job, fool. But his dad believed in him. And he started bawling on the radio. I'm like, oh, my God, what do I do with this guy? Do you remember that? Was that ULG? That might have been Hutch. And then the lead singer of Los Lonely Boys, Henry Garza.
Oh, yeah.
He and I talked for 30 minutes one time because they were doing the national anthem. This is back when they had the big hit, Heaven.
Yes.
And they had just won the Grammy.
Yes.
And they did the national anthem, and they were going to play at the Pavilion after the game. And I was there early, and Henry was practicing on guitar to do the anthem, which sounded just like Jimi Hendrix. He was so good.
Wow.
Henry Garza is one of the most underrated, badass guitar players ever. And I thought it was going to be 5-minute throwaway, promote the event. We chopped it up about bands and touring and road lizards and concerts and bad weather that ruined gigs and drugs and trying to stay cool after you win a Grammy and how that we're not rich at all. We're still just a traveling bus band. God, it was so awesome. It was a sports show, and my best 2 interviews were were musicians and actors, and my worst interviews were actual ball players.
That's exactly right. Yeah, no, it's crazy how that happens sometimes. But
who's your best one,
Ernie? You
Ernie?
just never know. Oh gosh, that I'd have to think about.
You probably had a million though, because I didn't do a lot of interviews on the radio show, but you had guests on every day.
Yeah,
probably not necessarily celebrities either.
No, that was the thing. That's what I really enjoyed about the morning show. Sports was okay. Let's go to sports practice. Wait 2 hours for these superstars to be done, and when Pop lets us in, we get in and we talk to whoever he says so. And
it's
we're
boring
completely at the mercy of.
You don't get anything.
Right. The news was completely different because these people come into the studio, they're, 99% of the time thrilled to be there. They're excited. Yeah. They may not be household figures or known names, but they come in and they only get 3 minutes, maybe 4 minutes. Radio, you could go a lot longer, but on the air, I had to fight sometimes to make it 4 or 5 minutes because I knew it was going to be a great interview. Mm-hmm. And I'd have to think about it, Cleto, to see like who was just the greatest. But there's so many times where an average person off the street came in, battling whatever, cancer or something in their life, or they have this very compelling story, and then all of a sudden it goes in a different direction, and you're just blown away, and you're like, you can't believe that, and you just wish you had more time with them. But it's just crazy. It's crazy how that happens. But at any rate.
You okay, man? I feel like we're therapy for you today, Cleto.
Me?
You feel better? You good?
Oh, I feel great.
I feel like you needed to get some stuff off your chest.
It's interesting because, and the reason it's like I hear the stories. I love hearing stories from guys that the folks that have been in the business, and you can relate to it. And it's like when you can relate to it, you can understand, like it's unfair because I've worked with Ernie and I've listened to you all the time, Mike. So I know you guys, but it's like with others in the business, you kind of like, what's their story? What is the best time you've had or you didn't, kind of, it's fascinating to me just to hear the stories and who they come across. And cause like when Ernie was talking a little while ago about, well, actually, it was like Tuesday. Y'all were talking about, him being in Phoenix and talking about the Suns. It's kind of like, that's pretty neat to be able to like, name. I was trying to name I mean, it's so funny because when you were saying, "Oh, there's one more, a power forward," I'm like, and I'm just throwing a Dan Marley. Was it Dan Marley?
No, Thunder Dan was not. He was already retired.
Yeah.
It's like, wait a minute. I mean, how far back is it? And it's like, okay, but I'm just fascinated with the stories, and I like hearing them, and because he kind of just reflects and stuff like that.
And all of that was pre-social media. You got to remember too, pre-iPhone. 20 years ago, the 2000, or I said 2005 Suns. I'm 19 years ago, but yeah, and the business has changed. I mean, TV has, I know radio has. I mean, and so just the way we do things, and I've talked about before, like the Johnny Carsons of the world, and I think Howard Stern is a fantastic interviewer. Like, I think of those people who you might not love their content or their approach to the way they do it, but I just think at the end of the day, interviewing is a lost art. And having conversations and
Howard's the greatest radio host there's ever been,
right?
In the English-speaking world.
That's saying something.
I can't speak for Russia or China, but there's never been a better radio host than Howard Stern. Period. Whether you like the content or not,
right?
Which he just interviews celebrities and musicians all day.
And I can watch that.
It's not nearly like it used to be with the chi-chis and the stupidity and the
private parts.
Yeah, it's not like
all
that
stuff.
We're not getting the tetas on the ear and all.
No, because I wasn't into like
he's grown up a lot.
Yeah. The earlier,
but he was still great then. He just used all that raunchiness to get famous. But now he's 70. He's grandpa, and his interviews now. And what's cool about Howard is, of course, now he's a legend, and he gets people to do things they would never ever do.
Exactly.
Like these rock stars that I'm not going to do a song because you requested it.
Yes.
Bruce Effin Springsteen.
Right. No.
But they'll do it for Howard.
They'll do it.
Because he's so genuine. He's so good and makes you feel at home. And nothing's BS about it.
Right.
He is who he is no matter what. And you have to respect it. He's the best ever.
Yeah. No.
As far as just like the tactical hosting a show, leading a show. Granted, he's got producers and directors,
right.
and even writers. He's had people that literally hand him jokes that he reads on the air and takes credit for. But that's fine. But he handles it the way he quarterbacks that show. And I'm an old radio geek, so I pick up on the technical aspects of just running a show.
Yeah.
And there's never been anybody better, and no one close. By the way, he's the Lombardi of my business for sure.
Yeah.
And you're right. He makes boring interviews good and makes good ones legendary.
No, you're right.
Yeah, man.
You're right. And somebody told me one time we're tour guides. It's our job to kind of tour the viewers and kind of take them by the hand sometimes wherever they need to go, or if it's doing an interview. I study that more than the average person probably does in just terms of just interview techniques, and I'm still learning. Lord knows I still learn, and I have no problem. Tom Snyder's another one. There's an old school
Tom Snyder.
He's
smoked on the air.
Yeah,
back in the day.
He's another, and I know I'm aging myself, but just following people like that. I watched a documentary the other night on the late night Johnny Letterman, Conan O'Brien, that whole era. Of the late night, who was going to get the Tonight Show and all that stuff.
Oh yeah. After when Johnny
Carson
was going to retire. Yeah, Letterman wanted it badly.
Right.
And got stabbed in the back.
Jay Leno.
And then he winds up stabbing Conan in the back 20 years later.
Gosh.
Ugh.
Yeah.
Jay.
And late night talk show world now is a different beast altogether.
Do you watch late night
I
television
do not.
talk?
I don't.
I don't. I
can't.
If something goes viral or it's trending, I might see a funny bit for 2 minutes, or if one of my favorite actors or a band is on, I'll watch.
Right.
But I have not stopped down live and watched Kimmel or Fallon or Seth Meyers. And I like all these guys. Yeah. I just don't. It's not part of my thing anymore.
No.
At 10:30, I'm watching television series and nodding off, you know?
Yeah.
And I haven't watched the 10 o'clock newscast, but maybe twice in a year, you know? I just haven't. But I go to all their websites every day because I want to know what's going on. And I watch packages on my own time.
Right.
Rarely do I tune in and watch the live news.
But
I can see there's such an art form, and especially you, because you quarterback that show so long.
Yeah, but that is the thing with news now is exactly what you're saying is what's happening in places all over the country. Is so
Package
how do
news.
you right? And people are digesting it on their devices at their own time. So if you're running a TV station or you're putting on a traditional morning show, how do you continue to do that and still attract, either maintain or grow viewership?
I used to say all the time, I thought it was very innovative and outside the box when they did hire Glettel.
Absolutely,
because
it was.
no one was doing something like
Absolutely.
that because television stations are afraid of everything. They're afraid to push the envelope because they don't want to mess up their news integrity, and I get that. You can maintain your news integrity, and I'm telling this to a newsman. I feel weird.
No.
You can maintain your integrity and still have a guy like Glettel on to bring something else to a show and make it entertaining. You know, obviously, like doing a newscast, I would never let, Ernie, if I was your boss and you were doing a newscast for me, I'm not going to let you endorse products. I'm just not going to let you do it. He can pimp all he wants on the same show.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
For different reasons.
For sure.
But I thought it was so innovative and out of the box. And local news needs to, it's funny, now's the time I would imagine Glettel getting a gig doing that now because news is having to change. Now they have to now. If you know, it's not outside the box. It's become necessary to get young people to keep watching.
Yeah, I think what happens now is like what Ernie was talking about earlier is that there's so much of a talent value that, like, for instance, someone like Ernie who has been there forever and this is the thing, you gotta be part. I watched before I got with the news. I was watching KSAT for the longest time. I could identify. I liked the anchors. I liked the reporters, and that was just my channel until I got with News 4, and then all of a sudden I became more loyal to where I was at, and I changed it, and then you got to know you connect with these people, and then that's what and the reason I bring that up is because it doesn't matter now, this day and age, of what you're doing, because the corporate are in Baltimore and they have no idea what you do and what impact you have on the viewership here. And they they just go by the numbers. And it's sad because they don't have the decency to come down to see what their station is truly doing and how they're impacting the community. And I think this thing, the thing with Ernie was the fact that I bring that up because people ask me all the time, what happened? What happened? Why did he? And I said, you don't get it. I mean, it's like, you got to know your value of what you bring to this table. And he brought it every single time, never complained once. And until, hey, there comes a time when you got to say, you know what? I'm worth more than what I'm getting here. You understand? And I think, it was a part of him and making that decision for what was best for him and his family. And luckily for us, as a community, we had him for how many years, Ernie?
18.
Well, yeah, I did the morning show for almost 18.
Yeah, I mean, we had you for that long, and it's like, I got to know him as a person. I got to know his family. We became really good friends, and it's just, the corporate scene now, and I think you can relate to that too, Mike. It's like, you put all this hard work, sweat, tears, the whole nine into this craft and your job. And then all of a sudden it is for one person that is doing accounting to say, okay, no more. You have no idea what this person does. Now, I'm not bitter. I'm just bringing it up because that was my format of what happened.
Wait a minute.
But it's at the same time, it's like, you do miss it. Yeah, I don't miss waking up early in the morning anymore. I'm getting older now, but I do miss being in the community, and therefore my other side gig, I get out there in the community. I'm fine. I'm good. And I run into people, and now I love this, that, hey, I love I got this at church by like 5 people. Hey, that 3 Cent podcast is awesome. I love tuning into that. I'm like, oh, okay, cool. So, I mean, that's you, when you're making an impact in the community, regardless, the people, they like you, they're going to follow you. They're going to follow you no matter what you're doing and go from there. And it's awesome.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think the ability to be able to do something like this, made the decision to leave, easier. I don't want to get into all of 2023 stuff and everything, but the reality is, I mean, I think now more than ever, people are looking for an escape. The news of the last 4 or 5 years has been very heavy in our area, with everything that's happened with the pandemic and the freeze and Uvalde and you name it. I mean, just a lot of heavy stuff that's happened. And so that we can come on here twice a week and do this podcast, or, Where's Cleto? Where's Cleto probably wouldn't work in Austin or Houston or Baltimore. But I will always believe it worked and had a place here in San Antonio, and who knows? I mean, this business is crazy enough, and Cleto might end up on another station someday.
I think he should, because I think this is the time when all the news stations are now like, wow, we need to start doing stuff like that. Mix that in.
And because digital now too is the thing too. What you do not only is on the traditional TV screen, but can also be on digital. It translates, and so that's what makes it, I think, more appealing.
Yeah, there needs to be influencers.
The hardest thing for me, Mike, was should I say it or should I not? And a lot of times my tongue was bleeding because I said I shouldn't say it. I shouldn't say it, and I didn't say it. And thank God I didn't.
And that's the mistake that was made.
Yeah.
They had a great idea.
Right.
It was innovative and gutsy, but they didn't let him be him.
Yep.
It sounds like what I'm hearing is you brought Cleto in,
right,
but you didn't let Cleto be Cleto.
Right.
You wanted Cleto to be a bit of a shadow of Cleto, and he's not going to operate like that.
No, none of us.
And I think once I started finding out how the trolls worked, and I started finding out how the haters were, and I started finding out the Karens of the world.
Yeah.
Oh, well. Gosh. Because let me tell you something. I don't know about you guys, but I got me so many emails, and I kid you not, on some of the emails I would reply, really? You're mad at that? You shouldn't. This is what I was originally going to say.
Yeah.
You should go see
I had a ball with them.
You should see all the responses to me criticizing UT football 4 days ago.
Oh, yeah.
You'd think that I kicked their dog,
right,
slapped their kid. All I said was, you're not better than Washington.
Well,
and then I said, okay, I'll tell you what it was. So last week or 2 weeks, well, when the playoff got announced,
right,
I disagreed that Texas should have been in the Final Four.
Right.
I thought Texas was about the sixth best team. I thought they were just on the outside. I thought Georgia should have been in still, even though they lost to Alabama. That's not. We're supposed to put the best 4 teams in the country in. Alabama's one of them. Yes, they beat Georgia.
Yeah.
Anyhow, oh my God, it pissed everybody.
Yeah.
I mean, I have learned. I have gotten used to that. That's just now
comes with the territory.
It's a little bit different. What I did for years, but hate, I realized, also drove ratings. Like I think I've told you guys this before. It's the Rush Limbaugh analogy.
Yes.
For 35 years, Rush Limbaugh was the most despised, most despicable, most criticized, most thrown under the bus, most boycotted talk show host in America.
Right.
And at the same time, over the course of the same 35 years, the most listened to, the highest generated, the highest paid, the most beloved, the most quoted talk show host in America was also Rush Limbaugh. He was both. And because you can only go so far when everybody loves you. Hate is also the friend of the talk show host. Yeah. And I had to embrace that as a young man, and it was difficult to do. I had to tell my grandmother, because she would show her emails and she'd be like freaking out. I'm like, I don't have to give my opinion. I'm paid to give my opinion.
Right.
So who am I to jump on to not let someone else give theirs? Cleto's gig was different.
Right.
But I've got that thick skin that you have to have. And if you're not stirring it up organically,
I
don't think you're doing a good enough job. You can't be where everybody loves you. You got to have an equal amount of hate. It's the enemy that will ruin my career is indifference. Mm-hmm. Love is my friend. Hate is my friend. Indifference will get that's the end. Right. When they don't care about me. And Jerry Jones even said that. When they stop caring about me, I got to go back to Arkansas.
Wait till they tell you, I'd rather hear dogs get it on.
Well, there's no insult you can throw Jerry Jones' way. That's why I freely do it. If he'd love it if you're sitting here. That's right. Keep talking about me. As long as they're talking about me.
That's right.
And they quit talking about me, I got to go back to Arkansas.
Yeah.
Hey, they don't quit talking. They don't give a shit what to say. They're talking about me, and that's okay.
You're
moving.
Well, he's done something right. He's done a few things right over the years. So,
Ernie, you know when I realized how much of an impact that I had was because you never know. You really don't know what kind of impact you have on people until something severe happens. Like when I was sick with COVID, that's when I realized I had so many of the comments coming in, I couldn't even read them all. And I was just like, wow, this is like mad crazy. Like, I mean, when I had stopped, it was like it's 600 something comments just coming in. And I said, it got past that. Like, I remember close to 2,500 at the when I double checked, and I was like, this is like mad. And then you realize that it's something that you touch somebody along the way. And when I first started doing the news, they couldn't understand what I was there for. I mean, they had no clue what I was doing. And they were like, get this moron off my TV and all that stuff. You know what I mean? But it's like after a while, over the years, I've had people come up to me and tell me, you know, I couldn't stand you at first, but you grew on me like a wart.
Hey, I'm there you go.
Okay. All right. You know, I'll take that.
We'll take that. We'll take that. Well, San Antonio listeners and viewers are fiercely loyal. That's why we love you guys so much. And so we appreciate you indulging us today here on this episode of 3 Cents Podcast.
Even you haters, we love you.
Even the haters.
Keep it coming.
Keep it coming. We'll take them. Haters going to hate, right? I believe Taylor Swift once said. So nonetheless,
take it off.
Exactly. So we salute all of you out there for watching us, and we appreciate your support here as we continue to kick off 2024, and we wish you and yours a very happy new year. So until next time, Cleto Rodriguez, Mike Taylor, LG, I'm Ernie Zuniga. Thank you so much. This has been the 3 Cents Podcast, presented by Integrity Roofing and Siding, broadcasting from the luxurious Chatterbox Studios. We'll see you again soon.
Three Cents Podcast is brought to you by Integrity Roofing and Siding.